food's a liar, it's a trap. Little fake practice, all your secrets are cash. Smiling on my face, then put your secret on my back. If you ever see me, just put your arm in my back. I know a boy that's like you. He's a snake just like you. Such a face just like you, but I can see the true transparency.
You work your fat to die, but you got your fat to die. Just fat to die, you keep the fat to die. Fat to die, you work your fat to die. Fat to die.
I don't fucking know if, I don't fucking know if, I just fucking know if it's a liar, it's a trap. Liar, it's a trap. Liar, it's a trap. Liar, little transparency, I don't fucking know.
Welcome to the Huddle Up Podcast. We are back with another video. It's just me today. I am going to be covering the AFC NFL draft review for all AFC teams, man. This was a pretty good draft. It was an entertaining draft. This draft was pretty deep. It had a lot of good players in it, and I think a lot of teams got better from this draft and benefited. What a moment here with Matthew Golden getting picked right in the Packers, basically stadium. What a tough moment for Matthew Golden. This is one of the highlights of the draft right here. But yeah, we're going to do the AFC South first. So that is Titans, Jaguars, Colts, Texans, and the Titans will be up first. New Titans GM Mike Borgonzi. It was pretty clear what you had to do this draft. Obviously, you have the number one pick, you go Cam Ward. But outside of that, if I'm the Titans, we need a lot. This roster needs a lot. We need to build in the trenches and just get Cameron Ward some help. And they did that. Femi Oladaju is a great edge rusher from UCLA. They did that. They went back in the third round and took a good safety out of Penn State, Kevin Winston Jr. And then I love this. I love these three fourth-round picks. They addressed all offense. They go Chimere DK from Florida, a great wide receiver. Gunnar Helm, who was a consistent tight end at Texas. And Alec Amaynor, who there in the fourth round. I don't know how he was there in the fourth round. That was a very good pick for the Titans right there. It was a good draft for the Titans, and I want to start with this guy on the screen right now, Cam Ward. My number one pick in the draft, my number one quarterback in this draft. I mean, Cam Ward could do it all. He kind of reminds me of a Warren Moon type. He could stand from the pocket and make throws, or he could get off script and also make throws too. And, you know, the Titans have been developing the offensive line over there. Brian Callahan stems from like the Bucs kind of tree system with Liam Cohen and everyone over there. He was the offensive coordinator for Baker Mayfield a couple years ago. So, and now think about it. Brian Callahan, head coach of the Titans, he walked into a situation where he wasn't the one who drafted Will Levis. It's a new regime there in Tennessee, and now this is Brian Callahan's guy. He can start with Cam Ward from scratch and really see what this guy could bring to an NFL offense. I don't think it's going to be, you know, sunshines and rainbows to start, because it's just hard as a rookie in the NFL to succeed in this league. But as you see right here, Cam Ward can make every throw in the book, and that's why he's the number one pick, no doubt. I mean, we're talking about off-schedule throws from the pocket. Cam Ward can do a lot of those things, and I'm excited to see what he brings to Tennessee. We haven't seen Tennessee have a franchise quarterback in ages. I mean, we go back to Ryan Tannehill, Marcus Mariota. They never really got it done. When's the last time Tennessee's had a real cornerstone franchise at quarterback who they could build around? And because we've seen some good days of the Titans. Yeah, they made AFC championships and whatever with Ryan Tannehill, and the days of Derrick Henry were fun. But it's not about AFC championships. It's about winning Super Bowls and being a contender for a long time. And I think with Cam Ward, with the Titans, they can sustain that. The rest of this draft was pretty good, though, and we're going to start with the edge rusher from UCLA, Femi Oladaju. This guy is just he was a good prospect coming out, and this is a good pick in the second round. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's going to beat you with power off the edge, and he's really good against the run. And this is what the Titans need. We're talking about a team with many needs, and we've seen how the Philadelphia Eagles won a Super Bowl with taking down the best quarterback in the league. Mahomes is getting to the passer. And with you're in a division with Anthony Richardson, maybe Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, those are all good pocket well, I wouldn't say they're all good pocket passers, but at least C.J. Stroud and Trevor Lawrence are good enough pocket passers where you need a pass rush to disrupt the pass. And Femi is the guy for you if you're the Titans in the second round. It's good value. He stops the run, and he's just a good player. And this is just what the Titans need to do. They need to upgrade the trenches. They need to keep working on just getting good players and just getting a new belief in there, because the Titans haven't been good for a little bit now. So it's all about getting players in here and just trying to make this team better. And I really like this pick from the Titans. Next up for the Titans, we got Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State. Another great pick. If we're talking about Titans just building a defense, you lost Harold Landry. I mean, you got some names over there, L'Jarius Sneed. You got some other names, but let's get a rangy safety in our secondary that could really come up and tackle. Two good things about the last two guys I just showed, Femi and Kevin Winston Jr., they're going to come up and tackle, and that's what you need in today's NFL, and especially in the division, like AFC South, going against Jonathan Taylor, going up against Joe Mixon, Travis Etienne down there in Duval with the Jaguars. So you need rangy guys like Kevin Winston Jr., and I like Kevin Winston Jr. I pay attention to a lot of Penn State football this past season, and he's a good player. He could break up passes, as you see here. He could come down and really fill run gaps. That's what I love about him. He's going to come down and he's going to guard that run. He has very good run defense, and that's what you love from a safety. You want a safety to come up and hit and read gaps and play well. The next pick, Chimere DK right here. I love this pick from the Titans right here. If I'm the Titans, we're just throwing darts at the board for receivers. We signed Tyler Lockett in the offseason. We got Calvin Ridley. If I think back to the Titans offense last year, it just wasn't explosive enough. It was Calvin Ridley, it was DeAndre Hopkins, Tony Pollard. It's pretty mid. With Chimere DK right here in the 4th round, this is a really good pick. We need to get more explosive on offense. We need to support Cam Ward right here, and I think DK had a good year for the Gators, and I think he will translate to the NFL fairly well. And I love this next pick too, Gunnar Helm out of Texas in the 4th round. These 3 straight 4th round picks. I'm talking about DK, Gunnar Helm, and then Alec Maynor. But again, Gunnar Helm, a great grab in the 4th round. Look how explosive this guy is. He jumps off the screen. This is really a great tight end draft. In a normal tight end draft, Gunnar Helm probably goes at least 2nd or 3rd round. And maybe in other drafts, he goes in the 1st round. This is a guy who's going to be a great pass catcher for the Titans. He's going to be a security blanket for Cam Ward. And we'll see how he develops with the Titans, but I think he's going to be an unreal threat for Cam Ward. Gunnar Helm is an underrated pick in this draft. This guy's a beast. He's out here hurdling people, catching it. His run after catch is pretty good, but he just looks like one of those standard good tight ends, like a Travis Kelce. To me, he's more like a Travis Kelce, even though he wears 85. It could remind you of Kittle a little bit, but he's a little bigger. But yeah, I love Gunnar Helm. This is a great pick. He's more of a vertical threat, and he's just going to be a great target for Cam Ward. And he's so athletic too. And I'm just going to go back to the run after catch ability. When the ball's in his hands and he goes to make a play, look, he's making people miss. He's going downfield. He's hurdling more people. I mean, Gunnar Helm is everything you want in a tight end. And I think in Brian Callahan's system and for a young quarterback like Cam Ward, you're going to need a security blanket. And this is the next pick right here, Alec Manor. Sorry, not Manor. Manor is his name. Alec Manor. Let me get that name right. This guy is going to be the number 1 receiver for the Titans, I think. Probably him and Calvin Ridley, but I seen their GM, the Titans GM, say the other day that this guy's going to play the X, which means he's going to be number 1 receiver. I mean, what a grab in the 4th round. This guy had an unbelievable season. It was something like maybe like 17 touchdowns and 1,000-some receiving yards. I mean, in this game, he was killing Syracuse, one-on-one coverage. I just love for his size. To me, Alec Manor is only like a 6'1", 6'2", but he just goes up to get the ball, and he's so good at high pointing the football. And that's what I love about this kid. He's kind of like an evil Christian Kirk. You know what I'm saying? But like better though. He like high points the ball. You could throw goal balls to him. Like I said, we're throwing darts at the board right here. That's why in the 4th round, if we're the Titans, we're going three straight offensive weapons. We're going receiver, tight end, receiver. We got to start throwing darts at the board. We got to support our young quarterback, Cameron Ward. Not enough in the NFL do GMs and owners support their young QBs with talent. They just throw their rookie QBs out there and say, hey, go figure it out with a bad offensive line and not good receivers. You need to draft a quarterback when your team is ready to draft a quarterback. And I don't think the Titans are there yet to draft a quarterback, but they definitely are surrounding the pieces around Cam Ward in this draft, or at least trying to, which I like. It's a positive thing. This was a great draft for the Titans, and I'm going to give them an A+. I think they addressed their needs well and tried to support Cam Ward with the best team possible, and I'm excited to see what the Titans do this upcoming season. Next up, we got the Houston Texans. They lost a lot over the offseason. They took a big hit to the offensive line, and the Texans are just trying to build this thing back up. You know, Tank Dell is out for a good amount of time. Stephon Diggs left to the Patriots in free agency, which led them to making this trade. Giants wanted to move back in the 1st round. They got Jackson Dart, so the Texans got They got the Giants 2nd, so they were picking on day 2. They didn't get the chance to pick on night 1. Then they got an extra 2 third-round picks, one this year and one next year. So I thought this trade was good. The Giants wanted to get a QB, and they got Jackson Dart, and they both benefited from the deal. And let's get on to the draft class. I love the draft class for the Texans. Jaden Higgins was one of my top receivers in this draft. Big body receiver from Iowa State. Ursary, the tackle from Minnesota, he was one of the last good tackles left on the board. If he hits, he would be a really good grab for the Texans, especially after trading Laramie Tunsil to the Commanders. And then Jalen Noel. Let's just take both Iowa receivers right there. And I think Woody Marks in the 4th round was a really good grab. I think he was one of the more underrated backs in this class. You know, Joe Mixon's getting up there in age, and I think he could really help. And then Jalen Reed, the other safety from Penn State. We were just talking about Kevin Winston. That's the one opposite him. And then, 6th round, Graham Mertz, okay. 6th and 7th round picks is what it is. You just kind of want to get lucky with those. But let's get into these first couple picks. I do love what the Texans did in the 1st round as we go back to that trade. And they traded back in the 1st round. And on day 2, they take Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. And I love Jaden Higgins. Stephon Diggs obviously goes to the Patriots. Tank Dell has that he dislocated knee and tore his ACL at the same time. So we need receivers. It can't just be Xavier Hutchinson and Mechie. We got to get explosive receivers to replace the receivers that are injured or left us in free agency. And Jaden Higgins is the perfect example. You're pairing Nico Collins basically with Nico Collins. Jaden Higgins is a 6'4", big body receiver who could go up and high point the ball. And now I got Jaden Higgins and Nico Collins opposite side of each other. Is going to be very dangerous. Nico gets so much attention. I think it could open up so much for a guy like Jaden Higgins in a Texans offense that's very explosive. Now, it's a lot of questions about the Texans offense. Bobby Slowick, offensive coordinator, got canned. I mean, he got fired. So it's a new offense in there. But I like Jaden Higgins, man. He was probably like a top 4 receiver in this draft outside of Ted McMillan and Matthew Golden. I think those second-level receivers were about Luther Bird and Jaden Higgins. I think those were the next 2 best receivers after Teddy Rowe, McMillan, and Matthew Golden. So, yeah, Jaden Higgins is just a good grab, and it's a good draft pick for the Texans. I think it was a good move moving back into the 2nd round and getting a guy like Jaden Higgins. He's going to provide big-time catchability on the opposite side of Nico Collins. And honestly, he's just going to be hard to guard. Most corners in the NFL are about 5'11", 6 foot. And you don't have a lot of tall corners in the NFL, so when we're talking about jump ball ability, Jaden Higgins is that guy. Next up, Ariante Ursary was their next pick, who is a tackle. This was another good pick for the Texans. I mean, you got to start protecting C.J. Stroud. The Houston Texans gave up 54 sacks in the NFL. That's second worst in the league this past season. So if you're the Texans, we got to get upgraded on offensive line. We traded Kenyon Green, who was a young guard in this league, who was like the second worst ranked guard on PFF, Pro Football Focus, last season. So, I would have liked. I get that the Texans got the 2 third-round picks and they got the Giants second. I would have liked if they sticked and picked though and got a offensive tackle like a Josh Simmons from Ohio State, but they wait here a little bit, and it's a late second-round pick. I like Ursary. He's a big offensive tackle. He's going to provide good things for them. I just think that for where the Texans were, you had the 25th pick in the draft. You could have got a better tackle prospect than this. But Ursary's going to have to step up. He's going to be starting left tackle or right tackle from day one for the Texans. So we'll see how it works out. I think it'll work out well. He has good power. He kicks out well in the run game. And he's just a big body. So Ariante Ursary's going to be good. Now, I love this pick. Jalen Noel out of Iowa State, which is literally Jaden Higgins' receiver he lines up with all last season. I mean, opposite side of him. Jalen Noel is just explosive. He's fume. He's fast. He's a quick, twitchy guy. And I can imagine with the Texans offense right now with Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins on the outside, you put Jalen Noel in the slot right here because Tank Dell won't be ready for the start of next season. So I like this receiving core for the Texans that they built through the draft. Hey, we got Jaden Higgins. We might as well just draft this. We might as well just draft his teammate in Jalen Noel, who's just an explosive receiver. I love Jalen Noel. He gets in and out of breaks pretty quickly. He's just a fast, quick, twitchy guy. He kind of reminds you of a Tank Dell a little bit, but I just love this pick where Texans, they before drafting Jalen Noel, they didn't have a burner on the roster. Somebody, obviously Nico Collins is a deep threat guy. Jaden Higgins could come in and be a deep threat guy, obviously, but Jalen Noel, if we're talking about getting vertical and just running go balls, running streaks, running in any type of deep routes, deep overs, anything like that, Jalen Noel's your guy, and he's going to fit perfectly in the slot with C.J. Stroud. Now, it goes back to Ariante Ursary. Will C.J. Stroud have time to get these playmakers the ball like Jaden Higgins, Nico Collins, Jalen Noel, Dalton Schultz? Will he be able to get the ball to his playmakers? That is something we will have to see because I don't know if I trust the Texans' offensive line, but I do trust the thought process of the Texans going, hey, we're going to get three receivers that C.J. Stroud could throw to. We aren't comfortable, especially last season going into in the playoffs. You've seen the Texans struggle after beating the Chargers in the first round. They struggled because it was Nico Collins and it really wasn't a lot around him. So getting Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins would help them a lot. I give the Texans a B for this draft just because I like the picks of the receivers. I think that's going to go well with Nico Collins, and I like some of their other late-round picks with the running back and even Luke Lachey, the tight end out of Iowa, in the 7th round. But I just think they need to upgrade the offensive line more, and it worries me. So they just get a B. Next, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had a pretty solid draft. Obviously, the star of the draft is getting Travis Hunter at number 2 when you were supposed to pick at number 5 overall. That was a great grab. I like Caleb Ransall. You lost your second in the trade. You take him out of Tulane in the 3rd round. And then Wyatt Millam was another good pick out of West Virginia, a really good guard. I mean, even Byshell Tootin was a good grab for the Jags, but I want to look forward to this trade real quick before we talk about the draftees. This was a bold, aggressive trade from the Jacksonville Jaguars. They gave up next year's 1st, this year's 4th, and this year's 2nd to go up to number 2, but it was for Travis Hunter, so it was all in good faith. I like the trade, though, for a guy like Travis Hunter that plays both positions, wide receiver and DB, and what you need if you're the Jags, you need help desperately on both sides. And I get giving up a first-round pick next year. Like, who cares about future picks? Travis Hunter is a blue-chip player in this draft, and you might as well go get him if you have the chance. The Browns, to me, are crazy. I get that they need more pieces, but you're crazy for basically trading Travis Hunter away when he's honestly one of the best prospects to come out in these last couple of years, and I get why the Jags gave up a quarterback like capital to trade up for him. Like, that trade is like they were trading up for like a Cam Ward or even another draft. Just say they were trading up for any QB. Like, giving up a first next year is a lot, but if you believe the player that he could be, then I mean, what's Jags' best DB? Tyson Campbell, and they do have Brian Thomas with an amazing rookie season. But you think about him pairing with Travis Hunter on the offensive side of the ball. Now we're cooking with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas to throw to, ETN in the backfield. There's no excuse for Trevor Lawrence anymore. He's got to get this thing going, and I think that's why the Jags trade their first-round pick next year. They just believe in Travis Hunter so much. And I do think that the Jags were the best fit for him. This guy could play on both sides of the football. Travis Hunter, I don't care. A lot of NFL scouts are saying, oh, this guy can't play DB and receiver full time. I don't think it's going to be full time like every snap, but I think he's going to be in for majority of snaps on defense and offense. We've never seen a motor like Travis Hunter, no matter what people say. We've never seen somebody have this type of motor in the game. You think just because he goes to the NFL, it's not going to transfer? People can say the talent difference in the Big 12 or whatever. I think he's going to play both sides, and it's a desperate need on both sides of the ball for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which require giving up their first-round pick. I probably want to cover the defensive side of it. I think Travis Hunter is going to be a big impact on defense. The Jags are one of the worst pass defense teams in the league last season. I think they were 30 or 31st ranking against the pass. So these zone instincts, these man coverage instincts you see will help the Jags a lot with Travis Hunter. These next two picks for the Jags were good, as we start off with Caleb Ransall right here, cornerback out of Tulane. Now, I did forget to mention earlier, the Jags did sign Jordan Lewis, the cornerback from Michigan that played for the Cowboys, to be their slot. So you envision a nice little cornerback trio as long as Travis Hunter slides it defensively well with Tyson Campbell, Travis Hunter, and now Caleb Ransall, who's more of a slot corner to me. He doesn't really, his tape and how his measurements doesn't really give that he's an outside corner, but he's a very good aggressive corner that could come up, make plays. He tackles very well. So I thought this was a good grab in the third round, considering you traded your second-round pick to go get Travis Hunter. So I thought this was a good grab, getting a guy like Caleb Ransall. Definitely going to have to develop in Jacksonville, but I think he could develop into a pretty good player at the slot as he makes plays on the ball. And just I love great sound tacklers at the DB position. If you could come up and tackle at the DB position, you're going to do well in the NFL. Next, their fourth-round pick here in Wyatt Millam. Wyatt Millam is an offensive guard from West Virginia. I think this is going to be a great pick for the Jags again. You got to address the trenches. The Jags offensive line is okay, but you're going to add, the interior needs work. And as you see right here, they're going to address the interior with Wyatt Millam as they need to, so Trevor Lawrence could have time to throw the ball to guys like Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas. Try to get those guys, and Parker Washington, try to get those playmakers the ball, and you could start with getting an offensive guard like Wyatt. I thought offensive linemen and offensive tackles and offensive guards was one of the most deepest positions aside edge rusher and D tackle in this draft. I love the 2025 draft for in the trenches, so why not go get an O lineman? And now for the Jags grade, just on getting Travis Hunter, I'm going to give the Jags an A-. Yeah, they gave up some draft capital in this year's draft and next year's, but you get, to me, a blue-chip player and the best player in the draft in Travis Hunter, I got to give you an A+, especially when you're picking at 5 and you think this guy's probably not getting outside the top 2. So we traded up and we got ourselves a blue-chip player, and you got some good prospects to back it up, even though you gave up some future draft capital. So I'm giving the Jags an A+. Next, we have the Indianapolis Colts, who I think had the AFC South brought a lot of talent. This is another good draft. Getting Tyler Warren at 14 was great value to me. It looks like the Bears were going to take Tyler Warren at 10, but they take Colston Loveland. I know the Colts were happy and they got their guy. Then in the second round, you get the edge, JT Tolomao from Ohio State, who's a great player. Justin Wiley, Jalen Travis. It was a bunch of good picks for the Colts. Great draft for them. But I want to talk about Tyler Warren first. What a dog to get at 14. And it's funny that Dallas Clark wore 44. You remember years back for the Colts. Tyler Warren wears 44. We'll see if Tyler Warren could wear 44, because 44 is retired with the Colts. But what a great grab for the Colts to get. Tyler Warren is explosive, elite tight end that could really do it all. He could go out wide. He could go under center and run the tush push for you if you want him to. You could line him up anywhere on the field. You could put him at running back. He's just kind of like a Swiss Army knife at tight end that could just do it all, like a jack of all trades type of guy. And he's a decent blocker too. I do like his blocking downfield most of the time, as you see right here. He kind of reminds me of like a jack of all trades Travis Kelce type to me. Like, he gives Travis Kelce vibes as far as like the route running and the catching, but it's like he could do more stuff. I think he's one of those. Tyler Warren could do what Taysom Hill does, but at an elite level, if that makes sense. Like we see Taysom Hill on red zone make plays and different plays on red zone and stuff, but I think Tyler Warren can do it at a higher level because he's just that more skilled, and he's like 6'6", 260 something. So like, I think Tyler Warren's going to transition well. Whoever wins that QB battle between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson will have a security blanket. And I want to talk about this guy, JT Tuimalu. This is a deep edge rusher draft. In most drafts, JT might not even be here in the second round with the 46th pick is where the Colts were picking right here. And you see the highlights right here. He's just a great edge rusher, but also he's great at reading these RPO screens, just a lot of screen passes. He reads them. He tries to get a lot of picks off the edge. It's very creative on how he plays off the edge for Ohio State, and him and Jack Sawyer is a big reason why they went to the national championship and won it, because you had those two dominant edge rushers. But I think JT will fit in with the Colts mix. I think he's going to fit in well. You have a couple edge rushers there already in Indianapolis, in Kwity Paye and Lai Latu, who you drafted last year from UCLA. So I think this is a great draft for the Colts. The Colts love like explosive edge rusher type of guys, and I see the type of defense they're building. If DeForest Buckner can stay healthy, they'll have an alright defensive line. And I love what they added in free agency in Tre'Davious Ward and Cameron Bynum, the safety from the Minnesota Vikings, and Tre'Davious Ward, the Niners DB. So I give the Colts a B+. Overall, I think the AFC South brought in a lot of talent, and we'll see who's going to step up and win this division next season. It's your boy Mir. This is the Huddle Up Podcast. I hope y'all enjoy. I'm out.
Understand what I'm saying?
I can show you lame niggas how to do this.